The galaxy was at peace, or so everyone thought. Across the vast stretches of space, the Galactic Council, an alliance of the most powerful alien species, ruled with an iron fist. They had long considered Earth to be insignificant, a backwater planet with no military power or technological advancements. They never once suspected that humanity might have hidden something far more dangerous than anyone could have imagined. It all began on a quiet day, when the Galactic Council's high-tech communications network, capable of reaching the furthest corners of the universe, picked up an encrypted signal. The transmission was short, but its impact was immense. The message wasn't just a routine communication, it was a warning. The signal revealed the impossible. A fleet of warships, built in secret on Earth, was emerging from a hidden base. And it wasn't just any fleet. These ships were unlike anything the galaxy had ever seen. The Galactic Council's command center buzzed with alarm as the message flickered across their holographic screens. The fleet, vast and powerful, was now operational. But the council members were in disbelief. Earth, a planet they had ignored for centuries. It couldn't be real. The signal seemed like a bluff. Perhaps an attempt by Earth to scare them into submission. Or maybe it was a test, a technological stunt created by one of the galactic underdogs. But even if the transmission was fake, it was enough to disrupt the delicate balance of power in the galaxy. A meeting was immediately convened by the council to decide what to do next. There were many who thought it was a mistake to even entertain the idea that Earth could be a threat. But there was something in the way the signal had been sent, in the way the frequency had been modulated, that gave the message an undeniable authenticity. Across the galaxy, in a highly classified bunker located beneath the surface of Earth's moon, Captain Alex Carter sat in front of a console, his eyes scanning the encrypted message. He had known this day would come. For years, Alex and a small group of humans had been secretly building the fleet that had just been unveiled to the galaxy. The fleet was hidden deep within the Earth, a collection of technologically advanced warships, AI-controlled robots, and highly trained soldiers. The humans had been quietly preparing for the inevitable day when they would need to defend their world, but none of them had ever expected the moment would come so soon. Captain Carter was a man of few words, but his mind raced as he analyzed the signal. It was no coincidence that the fleet had finally revealed itself to the Council. The time had come for humanity to make its stand. The fleet was ready. And Alex, the one person who had been secretly preparing Earth's forces for this day, was at the heart of it all. For years, humanity had been mocked and underestimated. They were seen as primitive, incapable of surviving in the hostile universe that the Galactic Council controlled. But Alex had always believed in humanity's potential. He had seen it in the way people adapted, the way they learned from their mistakes, and grew stronger with each challenge. And now, with Earth's fleet ready to strike, he was about to prove to the galaxy just how wrong they had been. The fleet was more than just a collection of ships. It was the culmination of years of secret research, technological advancements, and fierce determination. The ships were cloaked in advanced technology, making them nearly invisible to the naked eye. AI-controlled drones and robots were stationed on board, ready to fight alongside human soldiers. The weapons systems were state-of-the-art, capable of taking on even the most advanced alien fleets. And the human crew, though vastly outnumbered, were prepared to fight with everything they had. As the signal continued to pulse across the Council's communication system, Alex made a decision. It was time to make a statement, to show the galaxy that Earth was no longer the underdog. He activated the launch sequence. One ship, one strike. In a matter of seconds, the Earth fleet's first warship, cloaked in advanced technology, broke through the atmosphere and entered space. The ship's weapons powered up, and with a sudden burst of energy, it locked onto the nearest Galactic Council station. The target was a heavily fortified military outpost, a symbol of the Council's dominance over the galaxy. But it was no match for the advanced technology of Earth's fleet. The first strike was swift, precise, and devastating. In mere moments, the galactic station was obliterated, torn apart by Earth's powerful weapons. The shockwave reverberated across the galaxy, shaking the foundations of the Galactic Council. The attack was so sudden and so powerful that the Council was left scrambling. Alien ships that had been stationed around the station were torn apart in seconds, leaving only debris floating in the vacuum of space. Chaos erupted within the Council as their highest-ranking officials tried to assess the situation. Earth's fleet had just delivered a message. Humanity was no longer weak. Humanity was no longer insignificant. Earth was a force to be reckoned with. Back on Earth, Alex watched the scene unfold in front of him. His heart raced with adrenaline, but his face remained stoic. He knew the consequences of this attack. The Council wouldn't sit idly by. Retaliation would come swiftly. The fleet would need to be ready for whatever was coming next. But the humans were ready. Alex had prepared them for this moment. He had trained his soldiers, his officers, to fight not just for survival but for the future of humanity. And now, the fate of the galaxy was in their hands. The war had just begun. In the Galactic Council's chambers, panic was setting in. The Council members exchanged nervous glances, unsure of how to respond. They had never faced an opponent like this before. A race they had dismissed for centuries had just struck a blow against them that they could not ignore. Some of the Council members demanded immediate retaliation, while others wanted to gather more information before acting. There was division in the ranks. But one thing was certain. Earth had just made a powerful statement. The once mocked planet had just proven that it was capable of standing up to the might of the Galactic Council. The Council had underestimated Earth's potential, and now they had to face the consequences of their complacency. As the Council scrambled to form a response, Alex Carter knew one thing for sure. This was only the beginning. The humans had made their move, and now they would have to fight to protect their world, their people, and their future. Earth was no longer just a small, insignificant planet. Earth was a threat that the galaxy would soon have to reckon with. The hidden fleet had caused a galactic uproar, and there was no going back now. The stage was set for a battle that would shape the future of the galaxy. And humanity, once the underdog, was about to show the universe what they were truly capable of. The atmosphere was tense as the humans geared up for their first major strike against the Galactic Council. The unthinkable had already happened. Earth had sent its first message to the galaxy, and the Council had felt the shockwaves. Now, it was time to take the next step. Captain Alex Carter stood in the command center of the Earth's fleet, staring out at the vast, dark expanse of space. His thoughts were sharp, his mind focused, but a deep sense of responsibility weighed heavily on him. This was the moment he had prepared for his entire life, but the price of failure was unimaginable. Alex was no stranger to command. A seasoned officer, he had been the mastermind behind Earth's secret military buildup. He had helped design the advanced cloaking technology that made their ships invisible to enemy radar. And he had overseen the training of the eye-powered robots that would be the backbone of their forces. Earth's fleet was a masterpiece of engineering, unseen, unheard, and unstoppable. Now he had been given the most important task of his career, to lead the first strike against the Galactic Council. With a swift motion, Alex issued the order. The moment had arrived. His fleet, a formidable force of warships, controlled drones, and human soldiers, powered up its engines and moved out. The cloaking devices on their ships activated, rendering them invisible to the enemy sensors. This was Earth's first battle, and they were not going to fight fair. They had the element of surprise, and they intended to use it to its full advantage. In the vastness of space, Earth's fleet moved silently, hidden beneath their advanced cloaks. The enemy, unaware of the approaching threat, continued with their routine patrols, believing their defenses were invincible. But the Galactic Council had underestimated Earth. Their fleets, though massive and powerful, were no match for the precision and ingenuity of Earth's forces. Alex's plan was simple but brilliant. ambushed the first galactic battle cruiser they encountered, used their superior tactics to overwhelm the enemy, and make a statement that the Council would never forget. As the fleet silently closed in on their target, Alex's mind raced. He knew this was just the beginning, but every battle would bring them closer to a confrontation with the full might of the Galactic Council. There was no turning back. The moment they engaged, the galaxy would know that Earth was a force to be reckoned with. Alex's voice was steady, commanding as he gave the final orders for the strike. "Prepare for immediate assault," Alex said into his comms. "We attack now. All hands, brace for impact." The strike was swift and deadly. As Earth's ships dropped their cloaks, the galactic battle cruiser appeared in their sights, an imposing and heavily armored vessel brimming with alien technology. Before the Council could react, Earth's ships opened fire. The first blast tore through the cruiser's outer shields, and the second hit its core systems, disabling its weapons and engines. The battle cruiser, once a symbol of the Galactic Council's power, was now a sitting target, defenseless against Earth's advanced tactics. Alex led the charge, his ship darting through space like a predator on the hunt. He expertly weaved in and out of the enemy's line of fire, giving his crew just enough time to retaliate with precision. The enemy ships tried to fight back, but Earth's fleet was too fast, too coordinated, and too powerful. The once imposing galactic cruiser was torn apart in mere minutes, its hulking frame disintegrating under the relentless barrage of Earth's firepower. The message was clear. Earth was no longer a weakling planet. They were a force to be reckoned with. But the battle was far from over. As Alex and his crew celebrated their victory, more Council ships arrived, each one more advanced than the last. The Galactic Council, shaken by the loss of their flagship, scrambled to regroup and retaliate. The tide of the war was turning, and Earth's fleet had only begun to fight. Chaos erupted across space. The battlefield became a swirling maelstrom of laser fire and exploding ships. The hum of engines filled the air as ships engaged in high-speed dogfights, darting between massive debris fields and the occasional wreckage of destroyed ships. The sight was both exhilarating and terrifying. In the middle of it all, Alex remained calm, his hand steady on the controls as he guided his ship through the chaos. The sound of explosions rocked the fleet as orbital bombardments rained down on enemy positions. The Council ships fired back, their weapons streaking through space with deadly accuracy. Earth's fleet, though smaller in number, fought with a fierce determination. Every maneuver was calculated. Every shot was precise. Alex knew this battle was about more than just defeating the Council. It was about sending a message to the entire galaxy that Earth was not to be underestimated. But amidst the chaos, the unthinkable happened. One of Alex's closest friends, Lieutenant Bonner, was aboard one of the smaller ships, leading a squadron of fighters in the thick of the battle. He had been by Alex's side for years, and the bond between them was as strong as family. Bonner was a skilled pilot, and his squadron had been wreaking havoc on the Council's forces, but the situation quickly turned dire. A massive alien warship, far larger than anything they had encountered before, emerged from the shadows. The ship was heavily armed, and it began targeting Earth's command center, where Alex and the fleet's leadership were stationed. The ship's powerful weapons fired relentlessly, and Alex knew that if they didn't stop it, it would wipe out their entire command structure, throwing Earth's forces into disarray. Bonner, realizing the threat, made a decision. Without hesitation, he ordered his squadron to attack the warship. They knew the odds were slim, but they had no choice. Alex watched helplessly as Bonner's ship moved toward the alien vessel, dodging enemy fire as it made a daring attack. In a last-ditch effort to protect the fleet, Bonner detonated his ship's core, sending a massive explosion through the alien warship's defensive systems. The blast was enough to cripple the ship, but at the cost of Bonner's life. The news of Bonner's death hit Alex like a physical blow. Bonner had been more than a friend. He had been a brother in arms. The loss was devastating, but it also fueled Alex's resolve. The battle was no longer just about victory. It was personal. Bonner's sacrifice would not be in vain. He had given everything for Earth's future, and Alex would make sure that the sacrifice would not be forgotten. As the battle raged on, the Galactic Council struggled to regroup, but Earth's fleet was relentless. With each passing minute, the tide of the war turned in humanity's favor. The Council had underestimated them, but they were learning the hard way that Earth was no longer just a weak planet. Humanity was a force to be reckoned with, and they would stop at nothing to protect their world, their people, and their future. In the end, Earth's fleet emerged victorious, but the cost was high. The loss of Bonner was a stark reminder of the sacrifices required in war. For Alex, it was a painful but necessary step in their fight for survival. The war had only just begun, but Earth was ready. They would face the Council, not as an underdog, but as a force capable of standing toe-to-toe with the greatest powers in the galaxy. The war had begun, but it was far from over. After Earth's successful strike, the Galactic Council, now fully aware of humanity's unexpected power, was enraged. The blow to their pride had been severe, and they knew that Earth could not be allowed to remain a threat. They mobilized their most advanced warships, their most skilled fleets, and their most dangerous weapons. The battle for dominance in the galaxy had shifted, and the Council was determined to take back control. Earth had no illusions about what was coming. Alex Carter, captain of Earth's fleet, knew that retaliation was inevitable. The Council would not simply accept their loss and retreat. They would strike back harder than before, but Alex and his fleet were ready. In the quiet moments after the battle's chaos, Earth's fleet had spent days preparing for the Council's next move. The secret strategies that Alex had developed, along with new AI fighters and advanced weaponry, had been fine-tuned and ready for deployment. The moment arrived sooner than expected. The sky above Earth was torn apart as massive Council warships appeared, moving toward the planet with terrifying speed. These ships were enormous, each one bristling with weapons capable of annihilating entire cities with a single blow. Their arrival was the signal for Earth's worst battle yet, but Alex was calm. His fleet was ready for this. They had prepared for this very moment. All units, prepare for immediate combat. Alex commanded through the comm system, his voice steady. This is it. Hold your ground and don't let up. With that, the fleet launched into space, its ships cloaked in the darkness of space, invisible to the incoming alien forces. The first wave of the Council's ships surged forward, their enormous forms cutting through space like a storm. But Earth's fleet wasn't about to face them head-on. No, they had something else in mind, something the Council hadn't anticipated. As the battle began, the fleet deployed its specialized AI fighters, an army of sleek, autonomous machines designed to target the Council's weaknesses. These fighters were fast, agile, and relentless. They swarmed the alien ships, firing lasers and precision bombs, each strike designed to disable key systems. They were like a swarm of bees, attacking in rapid, unexpected bursts, hitting the Council where it hurt the most. The action quickly escalated, and Alex's fleet adapted to the chaos of the battlefield. They used their cloaking devices to move past enemy defenses, sneaking into the heart of Council bases, dropping bombs, and planting explosives in the most vulnerable spots. As the alien warships launched their counterattacks, Earth's ships weaved in and out of the enemy lines, striking quickly before retreating into the darkness of space. The scene was nothing short of chaos. Alien warships exploded in the distance, their massive hulls disintegrating into a shower of sparks and debris. In the middle of it all, Earth's fleet remained elusive, silent, deadly, and efficient. Alex's voice came over the comm once again, his command precise, his tone unwavering. Focus fire on their command ships. We can cripple them here and now. With this order, Earth's fighters attacked the largest, most heavily defended ships, focusing on their vulnerable points: engines, weapon systems, and shields. The enemy, though technologically superior in many ways, found themselves unable to keep up with the speed and agility of Earth's ships. The Council had never expected humanity to fight like this, and they were paying the price for their underestimation. But the battle wasn't just about weapons and technology. It was about resilience. It was about the human spirit, the unyielding will to survive, and the refusal to bow down to those who sought to dominate. Despite the odds stacked against them, the humans fought with everything they had, using their knowledge of the enemy's tactics and their own unexpected strategies to gain the upper hand. The Council's fleets were formidable, but humanity's resilience was something they could not have anticipated. On the battlefield, the war was a blur of explosions and close-quarter combat. Alex watched as his fleet moved with a coordination that stunned even him. The AI fighters, once seen as mere tools, had become the backbone of their assault. They danced around the massive alien ships, dodging incoming fire and striking when the time was right. Their relentless attacks were starting to take a toll on the galactic fleet. In the distance, Alex could see one of the Council's massive warships, a true behemoth of alien engineering, beginning to falter. A series of explosions tore through its outer layers, and its shields flickered weakly, struggling to keep up with the onslaught. Alex's heart raced as he realized that their plan was working. They were winning. But even as victory seemed within their grasp, the Galactic Council refused to go down without a fight. Their remaining forces launched a retaliatory strike, desperate to break Earth's momentum. More enemy ships arrived, their weapons firing in unison, their tactics honed by millennia of warfare. The humans' cloaking devices were no match for the sheer volume of firepower being aimed at them. Earth's fleet took hits, but they did not falter. They fought back, harder, faster, and with more determination than ever before. And then, amidst the madness, came the most unexpected twist. As Earth's fleet continued to disable enemy ships, a series of robotic infiltrators, part of the secret strategy Alex had put into motion, boarded the Galactic Council's largest ships. These robots, designed for stealth and precision, infiltrated the heart of the enemy's fleets. Their mission was simple but critical: to disable the Council's weapon systems from the inside. One of the infiltrators managed to slip into a command ship, bypassing its security systems and disabling its main power grid. The once mighty ship, now without power, was dead in space. Its weapons and shields went offline, leaving it vulnerable to further attacks. This victory was one of many as Alex's fleet continued to chip away at the heart of the galactic forces. The images of alien warships crumbling under the might of Earth's unexpected tactics were unforgettable. Explosions filled the sky, debris floated in space, and ships fell one by one. The galaxy watched in awe as the once mighty Galactic Council's forces, powerful but predictable, were systematically dismantled by a race they had long thought inferior. Through it all, Alex's resolve remained unshaken. The battle was fierce, the losses were heavy, but the triumphs were more than just victories. They were statements. Earth had proven itself to be a force not to be underestimated, and the Council's arrogance had cost them dearly. As the battle raged on, Alex knew that this was only the beginning. The Council would not back down easily, and more battles lay ahead. But the humans had proven their worth. They had shown the galaxy that Earth was no longer a silent, insignificant world. They were a power to be reckoned with. And as the final explosions echoed in the distance, Alex knew one thing for sure. Earth had begun its rise, and there was no turning back. The war was escalating. Every battle seemed to bring new challenges, new obstacles, and more questions than answers. Alex Carter and his crew had fought valiantly, but the tide was turning in ways they could not have foreseen. The Galactic Council had been relentless, throwing every weapon they had at Earth's fleet. But it was not just the alien forces they had to fear anymore. There was something more sinister at play, a betrayal hidden deep within their own ranks. Alex had always trusted his crew. He knew them well, each one a fierce and loyal warrior in their own right. But lately, something had been off. There were whispers in the corridors of their command ship, moments of tension that didn't seem to make sense. As Earth's fleet prepared for its next move, Alex began to notice small but troubling signs. Key communications were being intercepted. Their tactics were being countered by the galactic forces in ways that seemed too precise, too timely to be just coincidence. It was only after a daring raid on a council supply base that Alex's suspicions were confirmed. While examining the data gathered from the mission, one of his intelligence officers stumbled upon a shocking revelation. One of the highest-ranking members of the Galactic Council, a trusted ally, had been secretly communicating with Earth's enemies. This betrayal wasn't just a random act of sabotage. It was part of a calculated plan to bring Earth to its knees. The traitor had been working in the shadows for months, undermining Earth's efforts from within. He had been feeding information to the enemy, coordinating attacks, and even sabotaging key missions. With this knowledge, Alex now understood why Earth's fleet had been outmatched in certain battles. The traitor had been tipping off the enemy, setting traps, and making sure Earth's forces were always one step behind. The betrayal ran deeper than anyone had imagined. The discovery hit Alex hard. He had always trusted those under his command, believing in their loyalty to Earth and its cause. But now, it was clear that someone had been playing a dangerous game. And this game was about to cost them dearly. The weight of the situation sank in. If the traitor wasn't stopped, Earth's entire strategy would crumble. The fate of the entire fleet hung in the balance. Alex knew he had to act quickly, but there was one problem. The traitor was clever. He had covered his tracks well, and finding him would not be easy. With the war already raging, time was not on their side. As Alex prepared to confront the traitor, the atmosphere aboard the fleet's flagship grew tense. Every mission became more difficult, every decision more fraught with uncertainty. Alex couldn't trust anyone completely. The emotional toll of the betrayal was becoming unbearable. Each time a soldier fell in battle, Alex couldn't help but wonder if it was because of the traitor's actions. Were their losses the result of sabotage, or had they simply been unlucky? The situation worsened when more of Alex's soldiers began to die under strange circumstances. Some were killed in battle, but others died in unexplained accidents. Critical systems were sabotaged at the worst possible times, and weapons malfunctions led to devastating consequences. It was clear that the traitor's influence was spreading, and it was taking a heavy toll on the crew's morale. Alex knew he couldn't wait any longer. He needed answers, and he needed them fast. He gathered his most trusted officers and began to piece together the puzzle. After hours of intense investigation, they finally narrowed down the list of suspects. The traitor was someone close to Alex, someone who had been in a position of power, someone who had earned his trust. The realization hit Alex like a punch to the gut. He couldn't believe it, but the evidence was undeniable. The traitor's identity was a bitter pill to swallow, but Alex knew that he had to face the truth. With the knowledge of the traitor's plans, Alex formulated a plan to confront him directly. He gathered a small team of soldiers, and together they infiltrated the traitor's stronghold. It was a dangerous mission, and Alex knew that many of his soldiers would not return. But he had no choice. Earth's survival depended on stopping this betrayal before it was too late. As Alex and his team navigated the labyrinthine corridors of the stronghold, the air was thick with tension. They moved quickly, staying in the shadows, their steps measured and quiet. Every moment felt like an eternity. Alex's mind raced as he thought about the countless lives at stake, lives that could be lost because of one person's greed and betrayal. Finally, after what felt like hours, they found the traitor. He was standing in front of a control panel, monitoring the fleet's communications. He looked up in shock as Alex and his team burst into the room, guns raised. "Alex, you don't understand," the traitor said, his voice cold and detached. "This was always going to happen. The Council has more power than you could ever imagine. You can't win." "Why?" Alex demanded, his voice sharp with anger. "Why betray us? Why destroy everything we've worked for?" The traitor smiled, his eyes cold and calculating. It was never about Earth. It was about the future. The galaxy has been ruled by the same forces for millennia. The Council's vision was the only way forward. You, your people, are just too insignificant to matter. This was the only way to ensure peace. But before Alex could respond, the room was rocked by a sudden explosion. The walls shook violently, and alarms blared throughout the ship. Alex's heart skipped a beat. They had been ambushed. It was a trap. The traitor's plan had worked. As Alex had been dealing with the betrayal, an enemy fleet had launched a surprise attack, catching Earth's fleet off guard. The battle had shifted in an instant, and now Alex was fighting for his life. "Get to the ship," Alex ordered his team, his voice urgent. "We're not done yet. We fight." The chaos that followed was like nothing Alex had ever experienced. The battle was fierce, and Earth's fleet was quickly overwhelmed by the sheer size and strength of the enemy forces. Ships exploded in space, their debris scattered like broken stars. Alex's soldiers fought valiantly, but the enemy was relentless, and the traitor's betrayal had left them vulnerable. Alex's heart raced as he watched the battle unfold. He had come so close to stopping the traitor, but now everything was falling apart. The fate of Earth, the fleet, and everything he had fought for hung in the balance. As Alex and his team fought their way through the ambush, the emotional toll of the betrayal weighed heavily on them. The soldiers around him were falling, one by one. The enemy fleet had caught them off guard, and now it seemed like there was no way out. But Alex refused to give up. He couldn't, not after everything they had been through. With his remaining soldiers, he made his way to the command center, determined to turn the tide of the battle. Just as they reached the command center, another explosion rocked the ship. The lights flickered, and the whole structure seemed to groan under the pressure. In that moment, Alex knew that Earth's fate was uncertain. But one thing was clear: the war was far from over. The war had reached its boiling point. The Galactic Council, desperate to crush Earth's defiance once and for all, unveiled its most terrifying weapon, an enormous AI-controlled battleship. It was a colossal, moon-sized war machine designed to obliterate fleets and shatter civilizations. Its arrival was marked by the sky tearing apart with a thunderous roar as it emerged from hyperspace. Its black hull gleamed ominously, bristling with weaponry capable of annihilating anything in its path. For Alex Carter and his team, the sight of the supermassive AI battleship was both awe-inspiring and chilling. This was no ordinary enemy. It was the pinnacle of the Galactic Council's technological might. And its purpose was clear: to destroy Earth's fleet and bring humanity to its knees. The battle began with an intensity that shook the void of space. Earth's fleet, though smaller and less advanced, launched a coordinated assault. Fighters swarmed around the AI battleship like angry hornets, their laser cannons firing relentlessly. But the behemoth's shields held strong, absorbing the onslaught with ease. Its retaliatory strikes were devastating, massive beams of energy tearing through Earth's ships like paper. Explosions lit up the battlefield as debris rained down like fiery meteors. Alex's heart pounded as he watched the carnage from the command bridge of his flagship. He knew the odds were against them, but giving up was not an option. Earth had faced countless challenges before, and they would face this one with the same unyielding spirit. Over the comms, Alex rallied his fleet, his voice steady despite the chaos around him. "This is it, everyone," he said. "This is where we make our stand. Fight with everything you've got. For Earth, for humanity. We're not going down without a fight." The fleet responded with renewed determination, their ships weaving through the chaos to launch precise attacks. Cloaking devices were engaged, allowing smaller vessels to sneak past the AI battleship's defenses. These ships targeted critical points on the enemy war machine, attempting to weaken its impenetrable shields. At the same time, drones and robots infiltrated the battleship's hull, planting charges and disabling systems wherever they could. The visuals were nothing short of breathtaking. The AI battleship loomed like a dark god, its cannons firing with unrelenting fury. The sky was alive with laser fire, missile trails, and the blinding flashes of explosions. Ships collided in fiery bursts, their debris scattering into the void. Amidst the chaos, Alex's flagship charged forward, leading the assault with a boldness that inspired the rest of the fleet. Inside the AI battleship, Earth's infiltrators faced their own battle. The corridors were a labyrinth of cold metal and blinding lights, patrolled by advanced alien robots. The human soldiers moved with precision, their every step calculated to avoid detection. They planted explosives on critical systems, hacked into control panels, and fought off enemy droids with everything from plasma rifles to hand-to-hand combat. As the infiltrators worked to sabotage the battleship, Alex and his team faced a different challenge. The AI controlling the massive war machine was not just advanced, it was intelligent, adapting to their every move. It anticipated attacks, countered strategies, and seemed almost unbeatable. But Alex had a plan. He had studied the Council's tactics, learned from their mistakes, and was determined to outsmart them. Using decoy ships, Alex lured the AI into focusing its firepower on a false target. As the battleship turned its attention to the decoys, the rest of Earth's fleet launched a coordinated strike on its vulnerable underside. The maneuver required perfect timing, and for a moment, it seemed as though the plan would fail. But against all odds, the fleet succeeded, breaking through the battleship's shields. The victory was short-lived, as the AI retaliated with a devastating counterattack. Earth's ships were thrown into disarray, and for a moment, it seemed as though all hope was lost. But Alex refused to give up. Rallying his fleet once more, he ordered an all-out assault on the battleship's core. It was a desperate move, but it was their only chance. As the battle reached its peak, the scale of the destruction was staggering. Ships crashed into one another, their wreckage forming a graveyard of twisted metal. Explosions lit up the sky like fireworks, each one a testament to the sacrifices being made. Alex's flagship took heavy damage, its hull breached in multiple places, but it continued to fight, its cannons blazing. Finally, after what felt like an eternity, Earth's infiltrators succeeded in disabling the battleship's primary systems. The massive war machine faltered, its weapons falling silent. But the AI was not done yet. In a last-ditch effort to destroy Earth's fleet, it initiated a self-destruct sequence. The countdown echoed through the battlefield, a grim reminder of the stakes at hand. Alex knew they had only moments to act. He ordered his fleet to retreat, but not before ensuring that the AI battleship would never rise again. Using their remaining firepower, Earth's ships targeted the battleship's core, delivering a final devastating blow. The resulting explosion was like nothing Alex had ever seen, a brilliant burst of light that consumed the battleship and sent shockwaves rippling through space. As the dust settled, the battlefield fell silent. The AI battleship was no more, reduced to a field of debris scattered across the void. Earth's fleet had emerged victorious, but the cost had been high. Ships were lost, lives were sacrificed, and the scars of the battle would remain for years to come. In the aftermath of the battle, the Galactic Council was forced to surrender. Their most powerful weapon had been destroyed, and their forces were in disarray. For the first time in centuries, the Council was at the mercy of an enemy, a small, determined planet that had refused to bow down. Alex stood on the bridge of his battered flagship, watching the stars as he reflected on all they had endured. The war was over, but the memories of the final showdown would stay with him forever. Humanity had proven that even in the face of overwhelming odds, they could rise above, united by their indomitable spirit and unyielding hope. The battlefield was quiet now, the chaos of war replaced by an eerie calm. The Galactic Council's forces had been defeated, their mighty fleets reduced to scattered wreckage drifting in the void. Earth's fleet had emerged victorious, but at a staggering cost. Alex Carter stood on the bridge of his flagship, staring out at the endless expanse of space. His once pristine uniform was torn and blood-stained, a stark reminder of the battles they had fought and the lives they had lost. The victory felt hollow as Alex thought about the friends and comrades who had fallen. The memory of their faces, their laughter, and their courage weighed heavily on his heart. The war had demanded sacrifices from everyone, and Alex knew that the scars it had left would never truly heal. The crew around him was silent, their expressions a mix of relief and sorrow. They had won, but the cost of that victory was written in the grief etched into their faces. The remaining soldiers gathered on the main deck of the flagship to honor their fallen comrades. A solemn silence filled the air as the names of the deceased were read aloud, each name a painful reminder of the price of freedom. The crew stood at attention, saluting as holographic images of their lost friends flickered into existence. The images glowed softly, showing smiling faces full of life, now gone forever. Tears streamed down Alex's face as he saluted alongside his crew, his chest tight with emotion. In that moment, Alex made a silent vow to ensure that their sacrifices were not in vain. Humanity had been tested in the crucible of war, and they had emerged stronger. The Galactic Council's defeat was not just a victory for Earth, but for every oppressed world in the galaxy. The tyrannical grip of the Council and its AI overlords had been shattered, and a new era was dawning, one where freedom and justice could prevail. As the memorial ended, Alex addressed his crew. His voice was steady, but the weight of his words was undeniable. We fought for our home, for our families, and for our future. We have shown the galaxy that humanity will not be enslaved or silenced. This victory belongs to all of us, but it came at a cost we can never forget. We honor the fallen by building a future worthy of their sacrifice. Let this be the beginning of a new chapter, not just for Earth, but for every world that yearns for freedom. The crew erupted in applause, their spirits lifted by Alex's words. For the first time in what felt like an eternity, there was hope. Earth had gained not only its freedom, but also the respect of the galaxy. The once overlooked planet had risen to become a symbol of resilience and defiance. Leaders from allied worlds sent messages of congratulations, pledging their support for a new coalition that would ensure the Galactic Council could never rise again. Back on Earth, the celebrations were both joyous and somber. Cities that had been on the brink of destruction were now illuminated with lights of triumph. Families embraced, grateful for the return of their loved ones, while others mourned the empty seats at their tables. Monuments were erected to honor the brave souls who had given their lives, their names etched into stone so that future generations would never forget the price of their freedom. As Alex returned home, he found himself walking through the streets of his childhood. The world he had fought so hard to protect was alive with laughter and music, a stark contrast to the battlefield he had just left. Yet even in the midst of celebration, he couldn't shake the feeling of unease. Victory had been won, but the war had left its mark on him. The memories of the battles, the faces of the fallen, and the weight of command would stay with him forever. In the weeks that followed, Earth began rebuilding. Factories that had once churned out weapons of war were repurposed to create ships for exploration and trade. Alliances were forged with other liberated worlds, and plans were made to establish a new galactic council, one that would uphold the values of equality and justice. Alex was offered a place on this council, but he declined. His heart was still on the front lines, where he felt he could make the most difference. Just as peace seemed within reach, an unsettling discovery sent ripples through the galaxy. A deep space probe, sent to explore uncharted regions, returned with footage of an enormous alien fleet. These ships were unlike anything the Galactic Council had ever fielded, their designs sleek and otherworldly. The footage showed a species that had remained hidden until now, watching humanity's rise from the shadows. Their technology appeared far more advanced than anything Alex had seen, and their motives were unclear. The message that accompanied the probe was chilling in its simplicity. "We have watched. We are coming." The revelation sent shockwaves through the ranks of Earth's leaders. The victory over the Galactic Council once a source of pride, now seemed like the first chapter in an even larger conflict. The new alien species posed a threat that could eclipse anything humanity had faced before. For Alex, it was a grim reminder that the galaxy was vast and full of dangers. The war might have ended, but the fight for survival was far from over. As Alex stood on the deck of his new ship, the Eternal Resolve, he gazed out at the stars with a renewed sense of purpose. The galaxy was a place of endless possibilities, both wondrous and terrifying. Humanity had proven its strength, but their journey was just beginning. Alex knew that whatever challenges lay ahead, they would face them together as one united people. The story of Earth's defiance against the Galactic Council would be told for generations, but it was only the beginning. The stars held secrets yet to be uncovered, alliances yet to be forged, and battles yet to be fought. Humanity's greatest test was on the horizon, and Alex was ready to lead them into the unknown. The final chapter of their story had not been written. It was only just beginning.